slowed him down. Let's get another one.
Go, we got him here. We got him. I see him.
I've lost the vehicle.
Cover unit heading up to the pursuit call. Be advised, this party was last seen eastbound through the stadium interchange. 10-block radius on a quadrant has been authorized by supervisor. Details will be provided on your screen.
Arcade racers. They're a genre of video game that died off several years ago. Out of the many franchises that died within the genre, the only one that remains is Need for Speed, which has had an identity crisis for the better part of a decade. And given that this game is now 20 years old, and represents what I believe to be the peak of an era of arcade racers, I want to talk about what made this era of arcade racing games special to me. And to provide a bit of reference, this is what my personal timeline of that era looks like. It spans across a decade and usually has at least one of 3 criteria that made these games special to me. And I know there's more to this genre than just these 4 IPs, but it's what I grew up with. So let's take a look at what made all of them special. Now the first is music, which is a little subjective given that music evolves as times change, and that taste can vastly vary from one person to another. But what made this genre of racing games amazing was the sheer diversity in music choice and vibes. If you played Midnight Club, then you most likely hear this song playing in your head while imagining this car with massive rims. If Need for Speed was your thing, then it's no surprise that you hear this song in your head while imagining this car that has become a cult icon. And when we think of Forza Horizon 1, we think of this song and the last Viper in yellow with black stripes. The point is that the music was able to establish a vibe that only that particular game could have, and the soundtracks for these games were so diverse that there was something for everyone. An example of that would be Midnight Club 3 introducing a 9-year-old me to jungle and drum and bass, which is a genre of music that I love dearly to this day. But as important as music is to these games, there's one thing that's more important than the music itself. It's probably the most important thing when it comes to these games. It's car customization. Now this is where Burnout and Forza Horizon 1 would take a seat, because when it came to customization, the rivalry was intense between Need for Speed and Midnight Club. In 2003, when we got Underground 1, it introduced the ability to customize the basic things, like bumpers, spoilers, wraps, and wheels. This is what became the standard for these games. However, a year later when we got Underground 2, suddenly we could customize things like the hood, trunk, doors, headlights, and so much more. And when Rockstar and its San Diego studio saw this, and the technology eventually made itself present, they gave us the ability to customize the interior of a car, which is a feature that I don't think has been replicated today. The cars were the canvas, and the players were the artists. 2 players could have the same car, but no 2 cars would be exactly the same. Customizing the cars were a form of self-expression and an extension of the player. And I could end the video here, but I want to talk about the most important aspect of these games to me, and it's the lore, specifically the rivalry and trash talking. All of these games had some form of that, but the game that did it the best is of course the very game that was the peak of that era, which is something that everyone can agree upon.
Good run. I like your style. Just make sure you watch your back with these guys, alright? See you around.
What's up, poser? I'm glad you're putting it down out there. I really am, because I can't wait to get a crack at that ride. What? Didn't anybody tell you? You gotta put your ride on the line to run against a blacklist racer, and that is why people aren't stupid enough to do it. I'll be waiting.
And it's not like the rivalry was only between the player and other racers in this game. There were the cops, too.
Single vehicle that is a
Hey, Hotshot. Hey, thanks for helping us out. We've been able to pick up every blacklist racer thanks to you. Now, I'll take that into consideration if you give yourself up. So what's it gonna be?
And that's why I love these games. They had something to motivate the player to play the game, and while the trash-talking scene in this era is a good motivator.
You hear that crowd? They're all here to see me race. Yeah, so how about you try to be a little competitive? Yeah, before you flunk out? It's good for my image.
In the case of this game, it's the cult icon of a car that was stolen from the player at the beginning. This car is the reason you play this game. Well, that and the absolutely chaotic police chases that you can bug out. With that in mind, it's kinda sad that this genre of game is dead, but believe it or not, it did revive itself recently, in the form of Tokyo Extreme Racer, which believe it or not dates back to that era that I believe to be the golden age of arcade racers. I've just never played a game in the series until now, and I love it so much. The music is there, the customization is there, and the underground scene and rivalry is there, with various characters to talk to and even establish rivalries with. This is literally a PS2 game from that era made today. At its core, it's very different from the arcade racer that I'm used to since all of the racing is done on a highway at highway speeds, but it does everything else right, and I love it so much. Like whoever's developing the next Need for Speed game should take notes because this game has scratched an itch that I have had for so long. Anyways, happy birthday to this game that managed to shape an entire generation. Maybe even a few generations as this game continues to grow in terms of hype that EA will never be able to satisfy.
Hey, stay focused. He's rolling on a lot of power, so wait for him to shift first.